This is my LS1. I just took it out of my 1999 C5 Corvette, which is my drift car. And I spun a rod bearing at Grid Life, drifting probably about 15 minutes in. The block was on its way out. We have Texas speed heads on here, but the block has about 170,000 miles. A lot of that is drifting, and a lot of that is just being dogged on by the person that had it before me. So today we're gonna go ahead, tear it apart, figure out what is really wrong, what needs to be fixed, and what is going to be salvageable on this engine. So, I am very excited to get started because I've never done this before. We're going to tear it down to the block, we're going to take everything out, push rods, cylinder heads, all the accessories, oil pan, flip it over, and really get a good look at what is going on inside. Yep, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. I don't know, we're just going to find out. Engine out. Fingers crossed this just comes right off. Whoa, very nice. Always gotta stay organized. Okay, so removing the harmonic balancer is going to be kind of a pain. This is a universal pulley remover, and we're going to use this. So we took the bolt out, obviously. I'm going to use a socket here that will be something for this to kind of pull against. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get it on and set and ready. I want to make sure I got a good grip. We want to make sure it's centered to pull off evenly because we want to reuse this one. Okay, that ain't going nowhere. Now, when pulling off your harmonic balancer, if you plan on reusing it, we want to really work it off. Make sure it comes off straight. I'm gonna get started. Ooh, all right. Making progress. All right, there we are. Our harmonic balancer out. Now this harmonic balancer puller, this pulley tool that I got, borrowed it from the auto parts store. You can rent them, quite convenient. Yay! Now I'm gonna work on getting the valve covers off, getting the heads off. Come in. Here we go. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. Now we got the timing cover off. Woohoo! Timing chain looks good. Things on the inside, as of right now, are not looking too bad. So I ran out of my regular black mechanic gloves, and now I have basically white doctor gloves to use. Yay. We are taking off the valve covers and then taking off the rockers, push rods, all that good stuff. Okay. Zoom out. Easy peasy. These are supposed to be that hard. Uh-oh. That's not good. So I was getting off the rockers on the driver's side of the engine, and these bolts, which came with the trunnion kit that I have, they were 6mm Allen key head, and this Allen key socket broke into one of the rocker bolt heads, and I panicked, but we were able to get it out. Luckily, it came out no issue, and the rockers were fine. We're gonna use a different type of bolt next time we get them all in there. But now we have this really long 6mm Allen key socket, and this is what we're gonna be using to get these out, which have been loosened already. I was not gonna test fate twice. So they're all loose. We're getting off our rockers, and then we're gonna take out the push rods, and then we're gonna take off the heads. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life, though. Like, they were surprisingly difficult to get loose, and I think part of that's because it's an aluminum, they're aluminum heads, and I think that these are steel bolts. But it's okay, we're good. We'll just replace them. Oh, all right, we got it. Passenger side, rockers are out. And now we're gonna get our push rods. Oh, beautiful, yeah. I have this giant 1/2" SK Tools ratchet. Always finding excuses to use it. There we go. Woo! Did my workout today. There we go. Woo! Yay. Making a mess downtown. Here I am. My name's Gabby. I'm taking apart an engine. Whoa. Whoops. We are making some pretty good progress overall. We removed the heads, we got all the bolts, whatever, to get all that. Next couple steps are going to be the lifters. We're going to remove the lifter trays with the lifters in it. Flip this engine upside down, remove the oil pan, the oil pickup, the windage, all that, and we should really start seeing some damage. As of right now, I haven't really seen any damage, any metal pieces, which is good because when I spun the rod bearing, the sound was pretty bad. Like, it sounded really bad. All right, next are the lifters. I don't know why they didn't want to come out, but they should have. You gotta be very gentle. Lifters are delicate. Normally they come right out. There we go. So much for being careful with the lifters. Good job, Gabby. These ones are being a little finicky, especially the outside ones. Come on. We're good, we're Gucci, that's as far as I can see. We're making some good progress. We're gonna take the oil pan off the car now. I went ahead and put a bunch of paper towels, and I'm gonna put a drain pan beneath the engine that way. When I'm taking off the oil pan, there's definitely gonna be some more spillage, so it'll just kind of spill right down there. We only have, since we took the 2 bolts off for the front cover, the timing cover, we also took the 2 bolts out on the rear cover, so we have 5 on this side and 5 on this side of the engine. So just 10 bolts, the oil pan should come right off. And then just removing the oil pickup and the tray that's in there. Hopefully it won't be too much of a mess. Okay. Better than nothing. Time, not making a huge mess. Somehow there continues to be more coolant that comes out of this block. Like, why? And then you can kind of see it here on the edge around. Like, look at this guy. That's a big piece of metal shavings there. Yay. Let it kind of sit on that for a bit. Yep, that's disappointing. Part of the process. Oh, dude, there's a lot of metal in the my oil pan here. Bummer. Oh yeah, belly up. Cleaned up the mess that I kind of made, but the engine is belly up. And we're gonna be taking this off. Yay. Woo! There's a lot more metal shavings into here too. Now to figure out how to do this part. All right, we have all the cranks exposed. I'm still kind of waiting for the moment I really start seeing the carnage and the damage. All I've seen so far are metal shavings in the oil pan, the wind tray, and a handful of other things, but nothing really major. I haven't seen any giant gouges, scratches, so I'm hoping once we take this apart, we'll start seeing some stuff, exciting stuff. Okay, at this point I'm just kind of messing around, but this is the harmonic balancer bolt put back in, and this is a 24-inch socket and a really long ratchet. It's really cool that I can crank my engine manually like this. So rad. We're gonna flip it back over, belly side up. And what we need to do is, well, first off, this is just cool. Literally watching the inside of my engine work in front of my own eyes. And I can definitely feel there's resistance right there. So, that's really cool. So for the next step, I'm going to take out the connecting rods, and I need to go ahead and mark them 1 through 8. So I'm going to turn the crank, and as each one comes up, I'm going to mark each piston and take them out one by one. And then I'm going to be taking out the main caps, which are these, what look like bridges. Take all this out and see what's inside. Remember, this is my first time doing this. I've never done this before, so I'm really taking my time. I'm really making sure I have the right information, and I'm just double, triple checking everything that I do before I do it. First piston removal ever. Oh! Found the issue. We found spun rod bearing. It was on, I think cylinder 5. I know it's number 5 of rod that I'm working on. And I just see tons of like bearing shaving materials on the crank. So it looks like 5 and 6, not doing so awesome. But I'm glad I started finally seeing the problem. Look at that, just straight up tore to pieces. So this is the one that had the spun rod bearing. You see there's gouging here on the crank, which is not good. That's no good, gouging. The rest, like, don't look nearly as bad. The bearings were good, but it was mostly this one that was super bad. Which was, if this is the front of the engine, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it was 5 and 6, and that's 7, 8. 5 and 6, they were just donezo. And you can even look over here. You have cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You started seeing some damage. And then this is 6. That's, yep, that just utterly disintegrated. I'm going to continue taking it apart. Obviously, we're going to need a new crank. I'm worried about the camshaft and if that had any damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue taking this apart, but I'm really glad that we already found one of the main issues, which is spun rod bearing. Woo! Gotta be honest, I feel like we're at a really good stopping point. We have all of the rods, pistons out, they are labeled in a good place. What's gonna be happening next is taking out the crank. But I've been here all day. I'm gonna go shower, take a break, go home, take a little sleepy sleeps, and I'll be back here tomorrow to finish the rest of the project. And it'll be tomorrow. Now, so it is the next day. I get a good amount of sleep. I am pretty sore, my arms and shoulders, because I'm so tall. I kind of have to, you know, hunch over the engine. Like I can't raise the engine on the, not a hoist, what's that called? Engine stand, there you go. We're gonna remove the crank now. And the goal of that is, well, one, the crank has it's pretty toast. There are some parts where it's just gouged out, where the bearing, the rod bearing spun and it was just having debris go everywhere. But I wanna take everything out, really inspect everything and make sure there isn't anything else that I need to replace besides the rods, bearings, the crank. I wanna look at the camshaft too. I'm really curious to see if there's any more damage than what I have found right now. It hasn't been making that much of a mess when I leave it out. It has a little bit of oil that's been kind of leaking down, but not nearly as much as I thought it'd be. All right, so the first thing we have to do to remove the crank is to remove the oil pump and a timing chain, and then this, I forget what it's called, but maybe timing gear. Let's get started. Now is the time to remove our camshaft. I'm using a really long extension to kind of get in and lift up the back of the camshaft. There we go. Yeah, so the goal is I'm going to try to just, instead of just like dragging it out, I'm going to use the extension to kind of lift the rear of the camshaft and try to just pull it out straight without knocking out any of like those. There we go. Slowly, surely. And there is our camshaft. For me to remove the crank, obviously, I need to remove what are called caps. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's caps. There's bolts on top, but then there's even bolts on the side, but because it's so dirty, I just decided I'm gonna clean off the bolt heads so I can kind of make sure I get the right size socket on there. You know, when there's so much dirt on a bolt that you don't really, I don't know, sometimes the socket doesn't fit on there because it's so dirty, so I'm cleaning them off. Another thing I want to mention is when you're taking out these main caps that are holding the crank in, they are each numbered 2, 3, 4, and 5. So not only is the order important, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the orientation, so which way they're facing. So they're gonna kind of be, so this is the front of the engine, so the 1, 2, so they're all kind of numerically facing the same way. I'll just have to remember that, you know, 1 is facing that way, if that makes sense. If not, I've taken the video so I can come back here and review it. One of the great things about making videos is that I have a complete log of how to disassemble it. So I will have all of the information I need on when I go to reassemble it. Like, okay, it's not working. More leverage. They're in there. Alright, so I'm using an adjustable wrench to kind of wiggle these back and forth to carefully remove them. So in there. There we go. One came out. Woo! There we go. Alright, here we go. There we go, it's moving. Okay, hold on. Sometimes all you need is a little leverage. Look at that. Yay, cranks out. All right, so we got the crank out and I have a better view of kind of what's going on. So I'm gonna show you guys. Let's get up close and personal. You can kind of see each of these bearings that the crank was sitting on are toasted. This one is pretty bad. That's the one where 5 and 6 came out. And then here you can even see metal just shaving down. Right here you can kind of see there's some gouging. My nail gets kind of caught on it. Yeah, right there. You see it real good there. That's a spot. Some metal flakes here where this dowel is. Lots of metal flakes everywhere. Okay, but we come over to, what did we take out? Oh, these. Okay, hold on, let me get a glove. Glove on. So these are the main caps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 front. So underneath each of these two, you'll see that there's some good damage, gouging going on. This one too was pretty bad. I can feel all of that. And then 5 was pretty bad too. You can see, like, I can feel the grooves. They're pretty deep, like right here. My nail gets caught on them. So those, whatever bearings, those will definitely need to be replaced on the crank. So this is where 5 and 6, where the bearings looked like this. This is where they sat. And I don't know if you can see kind of like the grooves across. And then on the other side here, you can really see where it's gouged, grooved out. So this crank is definitely done for sure. And then we know that like this rod for sure is done. So you can see that in there. This is rod number 6. This one was rod number 5. You can kind of see there, yep, damage. And then even on the sides here, you can see where just the rod itself was damaged. So new rods. rod bearings, and whatever you need for that kind of stuff. New crank, new bearings for those things. Rockers seem good. Camshaft I have yet to look at, but what I'm kind of really sad about, so this is a high pressure oil pump that Texas Speed, well, that I got from Texas Speed. I let it drain out here, so this is oil that was left over, that was inside the oil pump. And if you look, there are actually metal shavings inside the oil pump itself. I don't know if this is savable. I don't know if we can kind of like drain or wash it out, or if it just might be better to get a new one. I really like that. So then yes, the camshaft here, I'm curious, I don't really see, there's like some grooving right here, but it's not bad. Like I can't catch my fingernail on it, but I don't see a whole lot. Oh yeah, right here, here's the other side. Oh yeah, right here. You can really see that my nail gets caught on that. That's just beat up. Darn. So it looks like I'll need a new camshaft too. Okay, very clearly I forgot to film an outro, so I'm doing it now. Just to recap, I was going through all the damage on the block, and I think I stopped recording because I was really bummed at the damage that I found, and then just didn't come back to film an outro, and you know, it's been a minute. We found damage on the block, the crank, all the bearings need to be redone. The camshaft have some damage too, to the point where I need a new one. But what I didn't show is one of the lifters is also kind of flattened down from everything, and I'm sure that that's what gave the camshaft its grooving, is the lifter being damaged. So we need lifters, all the gaskets clearly, and yeah, it kind of sucks. It could be worse, but I'm pretty bummed at the amount of damage that was in the block. Not the block, but you know, the whole engine. And thank you first off for sticking through to the end of this video. It's a very long video. I didn't anticipate on it being this long, but at this point when I'm editing, it's about a 30-minute long video, which is, I think, the longest video I've ever made. And I had a lot of fun taking apart the engine. The next steps that I'm doing is taking the block to machinists, having them look at it, make sure that I don't need to bore it down, or if I do, how much, and having that be refreshed. And I'm going to start ordering parts for the Corvette, and I'm really excited to have it back up and running. The goal is to do a budget rebuild. I wasn't expecting to have my engine go, or obviously it's not within my budget, so we're going to do a budget rebuild. And I really liked where the Corvette was power-wise, so I'm not going to be adding any power. I'm just going to get it back up and running how it was. It was perfect for where I was at skill level-wise for drifting, and I want to stay there and develop my driver skill before I start adding more power. So unfortunately, there's that much damage, but I'm excited to start the process of getting new parts, getting it rebuilt, and getting it back into the Corvette. So thank you all for sticking through this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video. I am having fun being back, and I'm going to focus on putting more quality videos out. So if I miss a week, just know that that's why. I'm going to aim to be posting every Thursday/Friday-ish, just, you know, end of the week. In theory, the idea is to film something during the weekend, have a couple of days to edit it, and then upload it for all of you. But I'm here. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to the budget rebuild, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.